I got
because
gloves.
it is
I
cold
got gloves
outside.
too.
I needed you to bundle
I
up.
got gloves too. I did this for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because nobody has time for you to be sick, me to be sick, you
That's
to
right.
be sick. Thank you so much for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. It's cold outside, and hey, right now, the search for the suspect in the deadly shooting of the United Healthcare CEO still ongoing. We will be updating you on that, but we do know more about the incident and what the shooter looks like. That's our top story today. But we also want to keep you up to date on these frigid temperatures that finally has John wearing the appropriate attire before he goes outside.
Yeah, it's cold out. I mean, it was cold out this morning, especially with the wind chill. We had a 10 below. It's definitely getting better. We're at a 9 for the wind chill. Still single digits, but we've coming off a 10 below. So we'll take 9. And you know what you get when it's chilly out? A lot of sunshine. Get some sunshine in your life today. 20s around the metro, 17 in St. Cloud. Colder as you get west. 9 in Marshall, 9 in Ortonville, 10 in Wilmer right now. And we have the winds actually continuing to lighten up. If you look west where it's calm in Ortonville, that is the center of what is a Canadian or Arctic high pressure center. It's right there. This is, again, early December, so this is cold for this time of the year. You got to remember the average high is still in the 30s, and we're right around 20. So, again, 10, 15 degrees below average today. Wind chill still sitting below 0 for a few spots. Wilmer, -2, -2 in Alexandria. We're at 9. How about the warm spots in the places that it normally is the coldest? Duluth, 10. It's actually warmer in Duluth right now. We'll see partly cloudy skies, more sunshine into the afternoon. And then tonight, not going to be as cold tonight. We'll see temperatures in the teens, still chilly. But what is the big story after we get past this cold is the warm weekend. I'll let you know what the new temperatures I put on the 7-day in a bit.
John, thank you. The manhunt for the suspect in the deadly shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is still underway. More than 24 hours after the incident, we now have new details about the suspect. These pictures right here, they were released over an hour ago. They say the full face of the suspect and could be actually crucial for identifying who he is. NBC's Stephen Romo has the latest on this investigation.
Yeah, hey there. New York City police continuing that manhunt today and hoping for more leads. It's been more than a day now since United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down just here on the street behind me in the busy Midtown Manhattan. The shell casings left behind at the scene, we've learned overnight, deny, defend, and depose. Those words written on the shell casings, that according to law enforcement officials who were briefed on the investigation. Now that could be a major clue, but it's not clear right now exactly what that means. Police are also looking into a cell phone that was recovered along the route they believe that the suspect took off on after the shooting happened. Meanwhile, Thompson's wife is telling NBC News she was aware of threats made to her husband. She did not have many specifics about what exactly those threats were. The NYPD telling NBC News, though, that they do not believe he had a security detail with him while he was here in New York. Stephen Romo, NBC News. Now back to you.
Well, you know, today we know about Thompson, including who he was and how those who knew him are remembering him. The 50-year-old spent decades at United Healthcare, climbing the ladder from Director of Corporate Development all the way to the CEO of the insurance arm of United Health Group. He grew up in Iowa and graduated from University of Iowa in 1997. Thompson has 2 sons, one in high school right here in the Twin Cities and one as a freshman in college. Those who knew him are sharing their outpouring of grief, including Governor Tim Walz.
I knew Brian. Tragic. And as I said, well, some of it's still preliminary on this, but figure out what was behind this and follow through, making sure someone's brought to justice. But just our deepest condolences to the family. Horrible tragedy.
Other lawmakers have sent out their condolences as well, including Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. Frey said in a statement, "This is a shocking, devastating loss for our whole community. Shocking is the only word I can find at the moment." We also know it appears Thompson was not walking with any security when he was killed. That's something that the former leader of a threat management team at United Health Group says is not unusual.
Folks that I've worked with that I would call friends that are probably reeling and hoping that at least they didn't miss something, that they didn't miss something they had control over. We really hope to catch some of this behavior, this red flag behavior, much, much earlier, before anyone traveled to New York.
Former Secret Service agent Mike Olson says investigators will have an eye on those close to Thompson, including co-workers, company investors, and family. Well, this is a developing story. Be sure to stick with KARE 11 in the coming days as we learn more about exactly what happened. In a newly released report, the Stearns County Sheriff's Office says no one will be charged in a haunted hayride accident that killed 13-year-old Xander Mick in October. Xander was a volunteer on the ride and would jump onto the trailer and reach under seats to scare people on board. Other people working the hayride told police they had concerns about him not being aware of his surroundings and his size and his age. A warrant is out for a prominent local racehorse owner accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a bartender. A criminal complaint shows 78-year-old Barry Butzow hired the woman to work a party at his home in Eden Prairie. The documents say when he asked her to come back to help clean up, the two drank together and Butzow tried to kiss her. The woman told investigators she tried to leave before falling unconscious and later waking up to him sexually assaulting her. Charges say a DNA sample they took from the woman likely came from Butzow. He is denying those charges. Well, today we have a better look at what the state budget could look like over the next few years. Right now, Minnesota has a projected $616 million budget surplus for 2026 and 2027. Now, that's over $9 billion less than expected. The forecast also shows a potential deficit of more than $5 billion looming in 2028 and 2029. There are a lot of reasons for that projected deficit, including a rise in costs for special education and long-term care programs.
This is a over-the-horizon budget issue of growing costs in an aging population and more people accessing services, especially around autism.
With a tied house right now, it gives us the perfect opportunity to come together, to work with our Democrat colleagues, to find solutions, to govern responsibly, to rein in the spending.
The next budget forecast will come out in February, in the middle of the legislative session. That will give lawmakers an even better picture of the state's financial situation. Well, something lawmakers will likely be considering for future budgets are the number of Minnesotans who are currently unhoused. It's certainly a concern in these frigid temperatures. Here's what we're seeing.
I'm Sammy Solina. Nonprofits serving those who are homeless say they have seen a spike in people coming to them since temperatures dropped. They tell me that happens every winter, and the cost to serve that growing demand also rises. A recent study published by the Wilder Institute shows homelessness in Minnesota has increased over the past decade. Both Catholic Charities, Twin Cities, and Avivo says that adds to the challenges they face.
Well, right now, the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office is taking warm clothing donations for people who need them during this weather. The Sheriff's Office also posted 2 numbers to call if you see anyone who needs a ride or who might need help during this cold stretch. The numbers are on your screen right now, so do me a favor, take a look. The office is accepting donations through 4 this afternoon at the Law Enforcement Center. Well, when it comes to mail-in election ballots, the U.S. Postal Service is proving that you can trust their carriers. A new post-election analysis report shows nearly 100% of completed ballots made it back to election officials within a week. Almost 100 million ballots went through the Postal Service, and the Postmaster General says workers met their goal despite facing challenges, including Hurricanes Milton and Helene. The CEOs of some of the country's biggest airlines are facing questions over junk fees and how much money that they've made from them. Lawmakers grilled them over a recent Senate report which found from 2018 to 2023, 5 U.S. airlines made more than $12 billion on seat selection fees alone. It also found some airlines like Frontier and Spirit reward agents for catching travelers not following the carry-on rules.